let's just say, I won't go into details, but a wild animal bit me in my garden area, so I always have to be careful and wear gloves and stuff like that. So had to go to the walk-in clinic, and yeah, I tried to clean it out and put like alcohol and Neosporin on it, but I kind of looked up and realized that I have to go to the clinic. Like, washing your hands is not ever guaranteed for any wild animal bite. So yeah, so like I said, not going into details, but I had to get a tetanus and a tetanus shot, and now on antibiotics until the prescribed time. And yeah, so fingers crossed that I'm alright, but yeah, don't go near wild animals. Don't try to feed them. Don't try to look at them. Like, I know it's tempting, but it's like, oh my gosh. Yeah. Don't do it. Okay. Alright. So, or like, even if you're gardening, like in my case, like, just be careful. Like, wear gloves. Like, don't ever try to pull weeds like I did and not wear gloves. And if something just tries to come at you. So, yeah. So, this applies to any animal. Lizards, snakes, spiders, like, yeah. So, alright, so moving on. And then I went to go pick up my prescription, and it was at a place near my parents' home. So I'm like, okay, I might as well drop my dog off there, My mom wanted to say hi to him and stuff. And then on my way there, of course, I run over a screw, and my tire starts leaking, and I can actually hear the sound of it leaking. So I'm like, okay, now I have to go to the tire place, and then that took a while. They filled it up, and I went to get my prescription, came back at dinner. Now I have to take that medication, but yeah. Like people say, it could be worse. It's not a big deal at the end of the day. But it took a lot of my time today. I was like filming a booking on my website, and then this incident happened, and then came back, filmed, and then left, and then another incident, and then now I'm like back filming again. So I'm like, okay, at this point I'm just staying my ass home. Like, it ain't worth the $4.20 gas. Literally, it's like $4.20 today. I shouldn't be driving around. In fact, I'm just gonna stay my butt home for the rest of the week. How about that? I need to stay my butt home, get this house ready anyway for guests. But dang, and I was already going through it emotionally the last couple days, and April ended on a sour tone. It seems like every month this year kind of ended on a sour tone for some reason. Something's very sour in the air. But I'm starting to realize that more with time. Like, ooh, this year is like just as I have assumed. I don't want to say predicted, but yeah. Anyway, I'm starting to miss last year. Like, last year was so nice and peaceful. But anyway, so moving on to my story time, I was inspired because a poopsie commented and said, what are your previous jobs, your previous forms of employment? Because they have a lot of anxiety with their current job and like going to job interviews and stuff like that. So I have to tell you the dead honest truth. I'm a almost 32-year-old male. I know I may not look like it, but I am. I'm born in 1994. Please don't say I'm born in the 1900s. I already am having low self-esteem today. But I see some men my age, like, with all due respect, like, I love men. Men are beautiful to me. But, men in my age look pretty roughed up, you know, the ones I have seen at least. So I assume it is probably because a lot of it has to do with your job, you know. So it's a lot of times men, they don't talk about their problems. It's like men are shamed, especially I notice like straight men, like oh, you're not supposed to cry, you're supposed to be tough for the wife and kids, you know. There's like that stigma, unfortunately, that they're supposed to be no emotions, stone cold, you know, tough, you know. There's that stigmatism, whatever it's called. Did I just say astigmatism? I'm sorry, I'm tired. Anyway, yeah, maybe some men have astigmatism too. But anyway, so, I definitely can see how that can be anxiety ridden, just like this poopsie that left a comment. So, I'm gonna be honest, I went to only one job interview in my entire life. I still have a story to talk about my former employment, but it's not the traditional employment you think. I'll get into details. So my first job interview in this story time was a KFC job interview. Yes, Kentucky Fried Chicken, honey. Yes. Okay, so I was excited. I was 16 and a half, I think. It was the 08 recession time period. So between 08 and 2012, we really were struggling as a family, even though we lived in a huge, expensive home. That would, yeah, it's just insane, right? We were struggling, you know, because of the '08 crash. My family was in a business that they were like the first to get wiped out, basically, right? So we were like not doing well, right? Just absolutely, completely tanked. Yeah. The lowest of the low. So, they were like, okay, y'all need to work. Y'all need to get up and work. Like, at first they kind of mentioned it or made comments. And, you know, as a teenager, you're like 14, 15, 16, time passes, you kind of brush it off. But then they're like, no, you guys really need to work. Like, we need to keep up and buy food and pay bills. So I'm like, okay. So, I was like, no, I'm supposed to live my best life, but whatever. You know, I had a lot of anxiety back then as a teenager. I have like almost zero anxiety now. I was so nervous for my first job interview. Oh my gosh, I was so freaking nervous. And, so I went. They called me back like right away as soon as I dropped my application. They were super interested in me. And then, so I thought, okay, yeah, this could be easy. I'm overqualified, like, duh, I'm fabulous. I was doing actually YouTube. I wasn't being paid on YouTube yet. When I was 16, I was still trying to get the views up and the subscribers up to get into the partner program at the time, which was, it was more harder to be approved back then. You had to have like 10,000 subscribers. You had to have like, at least like 200,000 views. So it was hard. So I was trying to get my numbers up, but it wasn't paying me, right? So I had to get this employment in the meantime. So I'm like, I'm doing YouTube. I'm getting, oh my god, at that time I got like 10 million views or something like that. It took a while though for me to be approved. I was like 10,000 subscribers. This was 2010, 2011, okay, before I had this YouTube channel. I was doing comedy. I was doing reply videos. I'll get to the reply videos soon. Yeah, just wait. I have to start with one of my first forms of employment. This was not the first, but let me tell you. So, yeah, I went to the job interview. I was like, oh yeah, I'm like cocky, like, are you kidding me? Like, I saw the person before me. I was like, oh, I'm definitely gonna win this. Like, I'm just gonna whoop his ass, right? I thought it was the ish. I sometimes still do, but that's just me. But anyway, you know, I have to give myself confidence boost. But anyway, so I'm like, I got this in the bag, honey, right? I'm gonna be making my coins and paying my imaginary bills. Because what bills did I really have at 16? I didn't even have a phone, but like my parents got everything covered, right? because I don't have money. So I'm like, maybe if I have a job and get money, maybe then someone will love me, right? This is how teenagers think. Okay. Well, at least I did. Anyway, my insecure ass. So, I went to the KFC, right? The lady, I could tell right away, she looks at me like that. I could tell right away she didn't like me, and maybe she thought I was a little too arrogant, okay? But who hasn't thought that about me? Everyone has at one point or another. But, so, I was like, okay. I was starting to get a little, like, tense, because I can tell, like, I can read people right away. I'm a Virgo, I can read you, baby, right? I don't even have to try it. I need 30 seconds. I know who you are right away. I know what medication you're on. I know your social security number. I can read you like the CIA. I'm just making jokes, but seriously. And so, it didn't take me long to read this FO did not like me, okay? She's like asking me these atrocious questions, like has nothing to do with flipping chicken in a fryer or counting coins in a cash register back when you still had to do that. I don't know if you still gotta do that, but probably, because some people refuse to use credit cards or Apple Pay or whatever the hell. So, you know, this was a time before AI. This was a time before, you know, cryptocurrency. So you didn't accept that. Like, you just, you know, most people honestly still paid in cash back then. Or you used a debit card. You know, credit cards were still kind of, you know, taboo. But anyway, Apple Pay, never heard of her, right? Anyway, so basically, I imagine how hard can this job possibly be? All I have to do is count change. I'm good at math. I'm at honors AP programs for math by then, and I've always been at honors classes, so I'm very smart. I know that. I'm not a dumbass, okay? Whatever. I thought at the time, this is what I'm thinking is what I'm saying. I'm not saying that now. I'm saying this is what I was thinking as a teenager. So that was part of my cockiness. This lady's like, what's your favorite class? I'm like, history. She's like, ew, history. First of all, why they ask dumb questions on job interviews like that? Why you gotta ask them questions? Like, no. Like, what's your favorite animal? Like, what? What does that have to do with? Okay. I kind of struggled with the part where she asked me, why do you want this job? I said, the extra money would be nice. I said the extra money would be nice. She said, yeah, it would. That's when I knew I lost the damn job. I was like, no, I'm not getting this job at this point. The same usual questions, like, as far back as I remember. And I only remember this because it's my only job interview I've ever had to do. Thank God. Knock on wood. I hope I never have to do. But, you know. You know, like, how would you handle a difficult situation or working with difficult customers? And I probably stuttered 5 times. I probably jumbled my words. I probably talked about Mount Everest. I don't know what I did. I probably gave it the runaround, you know, beating around the bush. I don't even think I answered the question. I think I was talking about myself half the time. That's how it usually goes down with my probably borderline ass, okay? So, good luck getting a good response from me, right? I'm that type of person who asks me a question. Oh, we'll talk. I'm gonna give you a thorough essay, not a sentence, not a paragraph. No, honey. I will tell you my life story. I will go back to the 1800s if I have to and talk about my ancestral lineage to get to my point. So she probably was annoyed as hell by this point. Like, why can't he just give simple sentence answers, right? Little did I know. I thought I was impressing her and being charismatic and making a good impression and being nice and, you know, trying my hardest to make good eye contact without staring into someone's soul, which I probably was doing without realizing it. I was doing it. So I can tell the whole time I probably gave her a weird vibe, and that's okay because I'm weird, aren't we all? So, a week goes by, 2 weeks goes by. Nah, I knew I didn't get the job. You know why? The guy in front of me that got the job, I saw him at the school wearing the KFC shirt. I was like, yep, I didn't get that damn job. He got the job, interviewed on the same day, and they didn't call me back. I didn't get it, so they called me 2 weeks later like, yeah, you didn't get the job, but you tried, but, we're looking for something else here. We wish you the best of luck, blah, 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 blah. The same shit they say. Okay, to anybody else. That was stressful, and that was, that was bad. It was so hard to find work back then. It's not like now. I know people are like, oh my god, it's so hard to find work. Is it really? No. Y'all haven't seen nothing. I'm sorry, Gen Z, but millennials have been through the thick brunt of it, okay? Alright. I don't think a lot of Gen Z had to deal with nagging parents like, oh, you need to find work. Maybe, I don't know. But this was my experience, okay? But nowadays, Gen Z can just go on the TikTok and make money. We didn't have that, honey. I had to go get 10,000 subscribers, 2 million plus views, and apply, and they still deny me. Do you know, I was rejected from YouTube 2-3 times by the time I was approved. So I wasn't officially approved until I think it was like November 2011. So I kept trying and trying and trying. But anyway. Back to my father. I don't usually like talking about him because I haven't talked to him in like 10 years. I'm not going to go there. I refuse to go there because you never know who's watching, and then they go tell that person. Well, little do they know, I always find out from a family member. I won't say who, but they have the tea on everybody. So anytime someone even tries to do something against me, I have information and they can use that against you. So don't even try. But anyway, I have receipts too. But anyway, so people don't know I have the right people and the right sources, so don't even try me, honey. But anyway, so moving on. So basically, I was working with my brother part-time. So I kind of loved it. I enjoyed it. It was home remodeling. Basically, my father had a home remodeling business. I'm only talking about him, like I said, because you guys asked, like, what was my former employment. So this was my original first employment, right? The first one before YouTube, before a KFC application, which failed typically. And after that, I gave up. I didn't even try. I didn't bother. Honestly, even my mom was like, yeah, don't even bother. Like, it's so bad out there. If you couldn't even get KFC, bitch, like, don't even bother applying. I was like, okay. She was like, just keep trying to make YouTube work. I keep working with your father part-time. So I was like, okay, that works with me. For a 16-year-old to make like $100 a day, that's unheard of, So I was like, I'd rather do that than deal with the public anyway and get fried chicken thrown in my face, because I heard some stories about them fast food people. Ooh. God bless you guys. No wonder you're angry. Ooh. Having to deal with people like that. Cranky people who complain about a $3 French fry. Like, get them out of here. Oh, I don't have patience for that. No. Nowadays, looking back, I'm like, God protected me, because I know I would have lost my temper. I would have been clocked out on the second day. By the second end of the business. By the end of the second business day, I would have been without work. My temper. No. I'm not for play. Like, if someone tries to come at me, no, I will come back. And maybe in a more subtle, sneaky way, but I will come back. I may accidentally not return your change. I may accidentally have someone, maybe dip a French fry somewhere. No, I'm just playing, but seriously, I'm not playing. So, anyway, yeah, he protected me, said this was not for you, okay? Okay. He knew, he's like, YouTube is gonna work, you just gotta give me more time to work for you, okay? But anyway, so home remodeling, that was alright. I loved painting walls. I could do that all day. Shoot, I could do that today. Actually, back then I thought that's what I'd end up doing for a living, because I loved it so much. You brew yourself a cup of coffee, you paint, you laugh, you talk jokes, you make fun of random things that the time goes by, you have a good time, you listen to music. Oh my gosh. I love it. I love the smell of paint. I know, I'm weird, but like, it really was an easy job for me. I'm very good at it. I don't really make mess ups like that. The whole process is enjoyable to me. And yeah, so we had to install like furniture, like for wealthy clients. We've been in like skyscrapers, we've been in like mansions, we've been in like simple apartments. We worked all sorts of jobs. I lost count. Like, there were just times where we had like a lot of picky, needy people like pointing and saying, no, you have to do this better, you have to correct this, like it'll be almost perfect. There's no such thing as perfect if you've ever worked like remodeling or construction, but almost perfect, you know. And they'll be like, they'll just be pointing at the spot, and you're like, right? So if you know, you know. That's why it pays, right? So yeah, so I pretty much got along with my father, but the rough part was he didn't get so much along with my brother. And my brother was running the website, right? So they were like oil and water, literally. Like, even my father tells me something, or he says I'm doing something wrong, or tries to cuss me out about something, I'm like, okay, I got water off a duck's back, right? It's my father, like, whatever, it's forgiven. He's soft and gentle anyway, so I'm like, okay, it's forgiven. Like, I'm not gonna be fighting back with him, especially at the job. I'm not trying to, like, look, when it involves money, honey, I'm gonna shut my lip. Like, if you pay me enough, no, I'm gonna close my mouth. I'm not gonna say anything. You could cuss me out all you want, but you know, I'm not sabotaging any paycheck. But you know, my brother, he's argumentative, let's put it that way, with certain things. So you cuss him out back, he would throw things, oh my gosh, you know. And he was obviously like raging hormones teenager at the time. He's like 4 almost years older than me. So, you know, he's going through it. He's going through the financial crisis too. He can't find work. He's having to attend college, and it's a struggle all around. You know, he definitely doesn't want to get up 4:30 in the morning and work with him, right? He didn't probably even like him that much anyway. So, it was just mostly that, just the fights was hard to listen to, the shouting, the throwing things, you know. That was an unhealthy environment overall as a family business. I think that's why it ultimately ended up failing, because of the toxic environment. Okay, I could tolerate it, but it was a little much some days, you know. You come home and you're like really tired and exhausted because you just worked like literally 12 hours as a 16-year-old. Like, no 16-year-old should do that, but that's how tough times were for us. You know, we had a lot to lose at the time, a huge mortgage and a lot of expenses, so, which nowadays I can't even imagine how much money that would be. But anyway, so I understand, and I totally get it. Like, we were spoiled as hell anyway, so like, I'm not complaining. I'm not like throwing hate on my, you know, family for their decisions growing up, but you know, that's just, you have to do things to survive sometimes. I'm not too proud of the certain things I've done for money. But I am. It's weird. I have like no shame or embarrassment about it. It's just what it is. I just had to do what I had to do to survive in this crazy changing world. So anyway, so that was all right. That was okay. It was not fun to wake up when it's minus 10 degrees outside and it's 4 in the morning and you're freezing your balls off in the car, and the car is older and the heater won't kick in, right? Oh, and it takes forever until you feel warm. And your toes and your nose are not numb. But you have to do what you have to do. You suck it up. You know, you keep going. And I think that taught me to be strong. That taught me the value of $1. And that taught me to work my ass off. That taught me to be always a hard worker. So I never ever have to go back to that situation ever again. So, basically, like, I'm a workaholic as it is, so to me, like, that was actually enjoyable. Like, I can have a lot of time I kill, and a lot of those days I'd come back home to reply videos. I knew the reply girl, she was friends with me, and I don't know if you remember that time, but like, PewDiePie yelled at me online, blah blah blah. So that era, right? I've already talked about it. I'm not going to talk about it again, but basically that time period, I was coming home after a 12-hour workday, 14 hours with the commute, hour to Chicago downtown, hour back, because we lived in the suburbs north, and then I'd come home, film like 20 videos at once, and then go to bed exhausted, and I'd do the same over again the next day and the next day. That was a lot of my summers, and rinse repeat, you know. And you know, I'm not too proud to admit this part. It's a little embarrassing, but yeah, sometimes I had to cover the food. Sometimes I had to, you know, pitch in to help pay a bill or something, you know. I know no teenager should have to do that, but honestly, I gave out of love, you know. Like, I'm grateful I got to live in a big house. I'm grateful I got to have that experience. You know, I don't look at it that way. I don't have any hard feelings for that. The hardest feeling I have is we lost the house eventually. We couldn't keep up. And, that's something I'm still working on, letting go, that's not something that could be passed on to me and my brother. That's not any longer something that we could have, the beauty of a big, beautiful house. And, this was, again, I'm not talking about our house that I owned with my brother. That was many years later. I'm talking about way before, when we were younger, right? So, it just didn't work out, by the time YouTube applied. Honestly, the crushing part, and this is when I knew God had a bigger plan for me. The crushing part that destroyed me for a moment was as soon as I got, I'm gonna cry only because it was so crushing for me. It was like as soon as I got something positive, as soon as I got approved on YouTube to make money, and what money? It was like $50 the first month. We were getting foreclosed. It was traumatizing because I was like, yes, I finally got something good coming for me. And then we got foreclosed. It was devastating. I'm actually not as emotional as I thought because I've done the work, but that I've had to work on that, that was hard. That was so damn hard. I'm like, now what? What hope is there for us? I thought we were going to go homeless, literally. I was like, shoot, what are we going to do? And then everyone was hating on me online and not understanding what we were going through as a family and stuff. So, yeah. So, we still managed to stay another 2 years. Yeah, that's how foreclosures worked back then, because there were so many foreclosures because of the '08 crash. This was by 2012. We got the notice. By 2014, we had to be out, basically. End of 2013. So, my father was without work for a long time and couldn't pay the already reduced mortgage because there was like plans and stuff that the government offered. I think it was through Obama or something like that. Still couldn't keep up, still couldn't make it. It was that bad. So basically we lost the house, and that was the saddest day of my life. I had to give up my parakeets because as an 18, 19-year-old, I have no say in, like, if I'm living with them, if I'm going to live with them in the apartment. Like, if they're telling me we can't have these pets, we can't, I have to let them go. And that was the saddest day. I still remember saying goodbye to those parakeets. Looking back, I should have just, like, ran away with those parakeets. Just make my own rules. But, yeah, I couldn't. I wasn't, like, I was getting maybe $200, $300, $400 a month at that time. I couldn't afford to do that. So, give another year, give another 2 years, and then I was making a more low, but like a full-time income. It took me about 4 years actually, about 4 years of like chugging at it every week to make enough to move out on my own. So YouTube was such a blessing for me, and I did it so early on. Back then you had to have an insane amount of views to make money. Like, I couldn't move out on my own until I had like 1 million views a month. Yeah. So, and that's on YouTube. Like on TikTok, Facebook, those are easy to make 1 million views. I'm not talking about those hoes. YouTube is so hard to make 1 million views. Like, yeah. So, I was very proud of myself. I didn't move out until I was on BuzzFeed. I was on ABC News, Fox, like, I wasn't able to move out until all those things happened, and I got my name fully recognized in the public, and I had over 100,000 subscribers. I think I had like 150,000 by the time I was able to fully afford to move out. And like, I still had some debts, but I kind of, in life I kind of go, I've noticed I have like, sometimes I have debts, sometimes I don't. It just fluctuates. It seems like anyone else. Maybe there's something in my birth chart associated with that, ancestral struggles and stuff, I'm sure influenced that, because I don't have anything passed on to me from grandparents, great-grandparents, great-great-grandparents. Nobody knew what generational wealth even was at that time. They had to go through so much war and poverty and struggle, and that all gets passed in your DNA. And I've had to work through so much financial fears myself, and poverty mindset, as they call it. So I felt like the first in my family lineage to actually get out and actually make something of myself without even having to do a traditional degree. We were actually my brother was the first in our family to have a bachelor's degree. I was the first to have like a freaking very nice credit card. Like nobody else could get approved for like such a high credit limit, so I felt accomplished, So I'm sorry, I didn't expect how long this video would be, but I have to go in depth talking about my history since, this poopsie gave me an idea and asked, and I thought it was a beautiful idea to share my story, and because I think money is such a, I never felt shame with money. Like I'm open with talking about it. If someone asks me how much I'm worth or how much I have, I will tell them, like I have no shame in that. When I had $0, I had no shame saying I have $0. Making six figures, no shame saying I'm making six figures. Like, my income fluctuates constantly because I'm self-employed, but I just can't talk about it online, but I have no shame. Like I don't understand the shame thing. Like talking about money, especially, like why? Like why are you ashamed? Like this is your situation now. It doesn't mean it's going to be forever, right? So many people have made it and then lost it all overnight, and then made it all, and then some on top of that, all over again, and then lost it all over again. That's life. It happens. Shit happens. Why are you embarrassed? Like we're not here to just make money and to just work. And don't look at that algorithm crap where people are like, oh, you have to have this much by this age. That, honestly, that you do you. You live your life. Someone earning 100K is not the same happiness level as someone earning 50K, period. Someone earning 100K doesn't even know how to spend that money. Someone earning 50K knows how to invest that money sometimes. There's so many factors and the comfort levels of living and lifestyles you want to live and things you want to buy. Like, don't let anyone define happiness for you, okay? So back to what I was saying, I felt accomplished, and after a while I started getting sponsorships. I was one of the first, probably the first ASMR artist. I hate saying that I'm first because I was first for so many things, because again, I don't have that shame to ask. I don't have that shame that holds me back like a lot of people do, right? I do it. I like to be a go-getter. I like to just be bold and ask, and people were hating me. Oh, I was the first to open a Patreon, like one of the first, right? Oh, you shouldn't be opening a Patreon, like you C-O-C-K sucker, like you're a money grab. You shouldn't be like. And look at all these OF creators doing millions of dollars a month now. Are they ashamed? Do you know? Are they ashamed of the game? Right? Like there's no shame. So I was like, I'm just trying to make a living and get the hell out of here. I'm unhappy. I want to live my best life, and I want to do my own thing, right? I want to reach more people. I want to help people. That was always my goal. My original value and intention behind my business and businesses is to help people, period. It's not about money to me. I could earn way more going back to maybe home remodeling or do something else. But I choose to do this because I like to reach people and help them. So basically, but at the start, to me, it was like, okay, I was about the money because I had to make the money to move out. I wanted to be like these YouTube creators who could make it full time. This was a goal of mine, right? So I had to start to build a sturdy foundation. So I had to start somewhere. So I did sponsorships. People hated on that, hated on the Patreon. People always gonna hate. No, honey, no matter what you do, people always gonna hate. When I did OF, some people hated too. Whatever, most people support, which was shocking to me. But yeah, so I did that on and off a few times. I actually dated someone who did that as well, so we did that together for some time. So that's also how I made some money there. Well, how else did I make money on YouTube? Oh my gosh, I don't know, just videos. And I did the Cameo. Then obviously now I'm doing the website, the tarot readings, Reiki healing. So I'm not going to go into details to make this a million years long, but that's all I have done. And you have been with me in that journey. Sometime after I finished working with my family business and got into college, I started the whole, as you know, my past history already in my past videos, I have no shame again in this, the sugar daddy thing. That worked for me for a while. I hated it though, because it's like, you don't know who's going to be creepy. You don't know who's just going to come up and just end you. You don't know what you're going to get, right? They're going to pass something on. You never know. They could be crazy. lock you in the dungeon. Like, you never know. God forbid, God forbid. But I'm just saying, like, that's why I had to stop. I was like, okay, this is too much for me. Some of them were unreliable. They were like, yeah, I can't really pay you this much that you're expecting. I was like, no, I demand this much per month. Like, I flat out said it. Like, no, this is what you are going to give me, and this is what I expect. Period. They didn't do it, block, delete, bye. You know, I have no problem doing that. So that was just the business back then, you know, and you have to be tough, you know, you have to be strong. So so basically after doing that, that closed that chapter in my life, because I was like, this is unsteady, unreliable, and when I get 30 plus, I'm no longer going to be cute, probably. I'm no longer going to be, you know, I'm gonna have to slow down. I'm gonna probably get sick and tired of this and living this way, and it's probably going to kill me. So I was like, I had to be rational. I'd be like, okay, you're immature, you're young, stop now while you can, you know, continue doing what you're doing. And like, I always had that like pride where I'm like, I'm not gonna ask my family for money. Like, are you kidding me? When they themselves at the time were also like going through it. Like, I'd rather just like go on a date with like some old man and just get $500, $1,000, whatever I can scrap up. I bought myself a camera, microphone, continued with YouTube. That blew up, you know, so I continued investing back in myself. I had to do that a long time. I was brokey, right? That song. I was brokey for a long time before I started even like saving money, honestly. I think I was just paying debts and investing back into my channel all through, I kid you not, investing just until 2021 is when I first started like, okay, now I can save money. Yeah. So it was literally like 10 years of just paying down debts, investing back, you know, giving money to people who needed it. And then I was like, okay, now it's time for me, right? So in the 2020s, I really started working on, okay, I need to have more for myself and my future. So that's, I think that's what pushed me to keep going, is to always be hungry and to do more and to earn more. And when I kind of stopped doing that, then I'm like, okay, the hunger stopped. You know, I've noticed that. So I'm trying to be more in like my giving era lately, come back to that and kind of spend more and be more leisurely and open and giving, because, you know, life is so short. It is you don't know what can happen. I've known people who, like I said, gained it all and lose it all and gained it all back, you know, and life's beautiful in that way. And, you know, money is just a tool to get what you want. If you don't even know what you want, why do you need that much money to begin with? For your future self that may not even be around in 30, 40 years? Come on, get real, right? So, you know, I think we have to learn to be more open-minded and wise with our decision making, because you can't take it with you in the grave. But anyway, you know, talking about to those who have $5-10 million, diamonds in the vault. Come on, help that person out. Don't be so stingy. Yeah, so anyway, but I've learned a lot of these things from people who were millionaires, who were paying me to just spend time with them, literally. A lot of them are so stingy. And that's where I grew like a disgust. And I learned that a lot of rich people actually are rich because of their habits, and because they're really not all of them. I'm saying a lot of them. A lot of people are rich because they're giving. Honestly, I believe in that. I believe the more you give, the more you receive, as long as you don't expect anything in return. Anyway, but that's the right way to do it, in my book at least. I'm not judging those people. They've had their own journey. Maybe they've had financial insecurity in the past, and they never want to go back to that. You know, I understand. They watch their family struggle. They don't want to struggle. I get it. But a lot of them I'm learning nowadays are just lucky, and they've had things passed on to them from their parents and grandparents and great-grandparents. So I can't really feel too sorry for certain people when I've had to personally struggle so much and work my ass off so much. And you might not think YouTube is working your ass off. Oh, yes, it is, when you have to appease to a sponsor to the T. Like, they will make you scrap and redo the whole video if not. That's why I stopped. I was like, I can't take this anymore. I have to build my own website and a name for myself. get my own clientele so I don't have to keep relying on sponsors. So that was the journey. Yeah, that was pretty much all the kind of jobs that I've worked. It was just, on contract. I don't get paid anytime media mentions me. I don't get paid anytime someone puts me in a museum, a newspaper, a magazine, a book. I've gotten all of those multiple times. I'm probably forgetting some things. I don't get paid at all. I never had an interview, Netflix reach out. No payment whatsoever. Yes, my face is on Netflix. No payment whatsoever. I don't get paid for any of these things. No. So I have to, keep going, and I have to make do with what I can and what I can get. And I'm not a greedy person, thank God, So, to me, I just want enough to live happy, comfortable, pay my bills, have a little extra for myself at the end of the day, and make the others around me happy. That's where I'm at now in my 30s, So I think my actions and behavior in my 20s was a lot out of definitely ego, but also, I had to be selfish, I had to be hungry, I had to fight. And honestly, I've had to, push people down probably for views, clicks, just that's not the right thing. But that was my journey at the time. I would never do that again. That has bad karma, bad repercussions, and I regret permanently burning those bridges, out of irrational behavior and a lack of therapy. So, yeah. So that was my journey, I think I was more, it was weird. You wouldn't think as a teenager I was more level-headed. I was irrational and crazy in other ways, but I was more level-headed in my teens than my 20s, which is weird. In my 20s, I feel like I acted out more. I don't know. Maybe not. But anyway, I'm overthinking it. But that was my work journey, my employment journey. I've learned a lot along the way. Who knows what life brings now? I'm open now. Lately, I'm thinking I want to switch things up and do things different. I don't know. It's easy but hard to keep going long term. I definitely was thinking long term when joining YouTube, and I wanted this to be a long term thing. I didn't expect it to last this long or to go this far. I've had to deal with many ups and downs. I've had to do, I don't think I've ever had to do GoFundMe. Maybe once. I know once for my brother, but for myself, I don't think I ever did GoFundMe. I would never do that unless I really needed to. I got dire straits. I have been thinking about reopening my Patreon to do. I still get money from Patreon. God bless you guys. even though I don't really contribute to it anymore, I still have hundreds of posts on there, and that's probably why people keep signing on to check them and watch them. But that gives me a few coins a month. It's no biggie, but it helps pay the phone bill or whatever. It's nice. Spotify, Apple Music, those things kind of screwed me over. I was making good money on there, and I didn't have to lift a finger, and it just, now they ban ASM artists on there, which sucks. It screwed a lot of people over. And so I've had to make do. Now I pay my own rent, but obviously my partner, pays his half, so that helps. I've had to be a landlord for a couple years and a half when my family lived with me in our house, me and my brother's house. So I lived basically mortgage free during that time, which was nice because it was a big, kind of expensive home at the time, yeah. So I've had to do what I've had to do, I think we've all had to do that. If you're online, if you're self-employed, you have to do what you have to do, period. You have to, at the end of the day, the bills have to get paid and the hair has to get laid. No, but seriously, you have to have fun. You have to live your life. Sometimes go out to eat dinner. Sometimes you can't just always scrap. So I don't want to live that way, so I choose to work hard. I choose to make long videos and be there for you guys. And, I do your bookings every week, still consistently since 2019. I've been doing that, and that's a great help. That really has made a huge contribution. People secretly tip sometimes, that's always nice. That adds up as well at the end of the day. I always use your tips for videos. I never keep that. But, I think I'm definitely more letting go with age, but it's so hard when everything is so expensive now, and inflation just eats away your check. Like, it almost forces you to burn out. It forces you to keep working. And I'm gonna be honest, sometimes the thought crosses my mind. I'm like, not to put it out there, but like, I'm just keeping it real with you guys. I have never worked a job in my life. I don't have any resume. So God forbid I ever needed to apply for a job, I'm screwed. I don't have any resume experience. I could just say work with my business, but they're gonna say, why did you work, let's say 15 years ago, and you haven't worked that since? Like, that's sus, I have an amazing resume on YouTube as a personality, and that probably would be more suitable for me to be in the entertainment industry, like movies, film. But then AI is here, and that's going to wipe all that out probably, and nursing and all these jobs. And then I guess I'm like everyone else at that point, then I wouldn't have to worry. But you know what I'm saying? Like, there's rational, like realistic fears. I definitely feel fear. I don't feel shame, but I feel definitely fears sometimes, and they come up. And that's why I try so hard sometimes. I try to let go because I know the laws of the universe of manifestation, but I try so hard sometimes because I know that, like, no one's gonna help me. At the end of the day, I don't have anybody to fund me. I don't know any wealthy people like that can, like, back me up if I need to. I've sold my one and only house, like, that was my decision. But I'm like, I didn't expect to end up in a relationship, and then I've had a lot of conflict with a family member at the time, and that's why I had to sell. And it's life, just up and down, it takes you through the ringer. It's very humbling, but I don't know what the future holds. All I know is I can keep going, keep trying. All I can do is ask you guys to continue to watch these videos, support in any way you can, and I never want to feel like I have to, like, pressure anybody. I don't want to ever feel like I'm begging or something, because that's whatever. Again, I don't have that, like, shame to ask, really, so to me it doesn't feel like begging. But, like, I don't want to ever have to go in a situation where I have to put my pride aside and then have to ask for help, and I thank the good Lord I'm not in that situation right now at this moment. But again, you don't know what life brings. All you can do is hope for the best outcome. I live very average, very comfortably, and I think all this work so far has taught me I didn't need to do all that work this whole time. It all figured itself out. Everything's solved. You didn't have to try so hard. You didn't have to just be so obsessed with work that, like, I lost count how many times I burned out in the last 15 years, what's my work history? I'm old. I'm so old. 16 years, approximately, paid work history. Maybe 17, 18, if you count my very early years. I shouldn't say I was paid that early. Actually, I was paid as early as 12. But that's another story. It was a simple job, like backyard work, like lawn care. Like, nobody should be hiring a 12-year-old. But now you see why I'm a workaholic. I worked since I was 12. Anyway. So let's say almost 20 years, right? That's why I'm tired. Give me a break, right? I'm not burnt out right now, but, like, sometimes I'm like, just staring at a wall. I'm like, oh, I'm tired. You know what I'm saying? You know that feeling. If you know. Millennials had it hard. We had to, like, I don't blame it on the whole millennial thing. That's BS too to me. I'm like, okay, let's stop playing victim, right? Like, let's stop saying, oh, it's because I'm a millennial. Like, stop. Just no. Enough, right? We're tired of hearing it, right? But we've definitely had unique circumstances, and that has caused us to have to keep going every day. I barely had time to sit down and think in my 20s and work on myself and do counseling. I wish I did. Looking back, I don't have regrets. I don't have really any regret at all. Regret is really not my cup of tea. But if I were to force myself, if someone were to force me to pick and choose a regret, I would say, slow down, eat healthier in your 20s, rest more, take more naps, just relax. It's gonna work out. Oh, forgot. One time where I couldn't relax, I was freaking antsy, angsty, all in one with my best friend at the time, Jenny, from Sweden. The Ooga Chunga jewelry business. How could I forget that? That was another gig I did. Jack of all trades. Oh my gosh. Do you want to know the first thing I actually did in hopes that it would pay me? Remember when like Nicki Minaj, Lady Gaga, Katy Perry, Rihanna, they all came out with these like 2010 pop hits, Adele. I was getting their pictures, different pictures from Google Images, putting it in the Microsoft editor, video movie editor, on a really like podunk computer that barely loaded fast enough for me to enjoy. And lay over their music and like remixes of their music. I'd like tweak up the song a bit, add like edits and color edit, and like it would be like those back then on YouTube. It was very simple times where like a lot of videos would be those kind of videos where it was just like you playing this like a Katy Perry remix of The One That Got Away or something. Like that was me. You probably clicked on one of my videos. I would be the one talking about the videos, talking about Ina and like other artists and stuff. So I know a lot of people still comment like, you look familiar. You probably saw my videos back then, baby. Oh, I was raking in the views, but they wouldn't pay. Yeah. So I did that since I was like 14. I was like just having fun with it, tweaking things around, you know. So sometimes I would like mislead. I would do like misleading titles. Like I'd pretend like that was the music video and it wasn't. I'd put the music video thumbnail back when you were allowed to do it on YouTube. Now you can't even think of doing it without getting banned. So this was like way back then, before like many channels ago. I literally had to put like my mom's name on the check just to get the money. Like I was that young, literally. So those were interesting times. I've had a very interesting story. And you know, the oldies of YouTube, you know, to still be around, like that's awesome, you know. It's been such an honor. And, you know, I grew up in a time where like watching Shane Dawson and Glozell and Lisa Bug and, you know, what was her name? Brittany Louise Taylor, you know, who's still around, like, what's her name? Justine, like those kind of, like, she wasn't my cup of tea, but like, you know, because I didn't have any Apple products, so why would I watch her videos? But, you know, she was very engaging and fun and like positive, you know, that was like, what I was drawn to, you know. What was her name? Oh my gosh. What was her name? Shauna Malcolm. Yes, she was so fun. She was like my favorite for a long time. Her and Glozell, like, oh my god, queens of YouTube. Like, yes. Shane Dawson made me feel okay with being gay, made me feel comfortable to come out and be myself. When he came out as bisexual, I cried because I was like, yes, bitch. Like, yes, you know, he got hate, but oh my gosh, so did Lady Gaga when she came out as bi, right? Like, so like she was my biggest inspiration at the time. So that motivated me to work hard. She inspired me to work hard and keep going and just make art, you know, make my creation, no matter what it is, to get creative, to do things. So that was my biggest push. That was my biggest motive. So I didn't have time to think about anxiety, you know, to answer the poopsies question about anxiety at work. I didn't have time to have anxiety. I just had to keep going, you know? And to me, it was just about making the life I wanted to live, right? And so, yeah, like craziness, right? Craziness. I actually still remember my father asking me, like, how much are you earning this month? And I was like, $800. He's like, oh, you're doing good, you know? And I was just like, I'm just gonna keep going. And then, like, the next year, he's like, I'm at like $1,400-1,500 a month. Like, it was so fulfilling, you know. And I was like, can I work with you? He's like, no, just keep doing YouTube, you know. And like I think it was nice to at least have, you know, someone believe in me. My when I was in college, my mom, she actually drove me every week back and forth from downtown Chicago to an hour away and back again, just so I could film YouTube videos. You know, I'll never forget that. That was what helped me. And that's how I got on TV and stuff. So, you know, she drove me even to go interview on Fox News. That, you know, even though it didn't air, they lost the file, allegedly. But, you know, like, that's, yeah, crazy story. I could go on and on and on. I've already talked about a lot of this stuff, my YouTube journey. But this is just my employment journey specifically, so I'm not going to go into too much detail. But, yeah, you know, collaborations, you know, I've never got paid to do collabs with YouTubers. Did you know that? You don't really get paid doing collabs unless someone's like paying you, I guess. That would be a little weird. The many collabs I've done, I've done like 20 or 30 collabs. I've never got paid doing collabs. It's just a thing to get your name out there. I mean, you get the money from the video, obviously, but like, you don't pay each other. That's weird. Like, you just kind of post each other's videos on each other's channel. Like, it's just a fun time. It's really not about the money. Like, obviously the motive is always like, I'm keeping it real. Like, anyone I've ever done collabs with in person, like, I talk to them, they're always like, yeah, like, we need to make the money, right? Like, period. So we're discussing, like, how are we going to do this? How are we going to market it? Blah, 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 blah. So, yeah, so being a YouTuber is very interesting. It's not for everyone. You definitely have to be engaging. You have to be bubbly. You have to have your own personality. You have to have your own life outside of it, though. It's not everything. It can't consume you. So I think that's why it stuck with me longer than any employment, because it just works. It just works for me. It works for my schedule, my life. I don't want to have to report to a job. Again, I'm so thankful. Like, I still don't think any of this is real. Honestly, sometimes I still count my blessings. I'm like, am I really living this life? It's not easy, but like sometimes I'm like, is it really supposed to be this easy? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it just was written. I feel like it was just meant to be. I think the reason it works is because I had such a strong pull to do it early on, and I had such a strong manifestation aura about me where it just worked for a long time. I don't know how long it's going to work, and I hope YouTube's still around in like the 2030s, the rest of this decade. I hope, everything still functions smoothly. It's not for everyone, because like, it has its ups and downs, and you can't live too comfortably. You just have to think ahead and save and put money aside, because you just don't know, how your audience can fluctuate, and you just have to hope for the best. It's very unpredictable, and you just have to keep going and pushing yourself, and make a better schedule, and then it will, whatever works for your life. A lot of people have real jobs and they work YouTube. I heard early on that was not good when it comes to text time. It gets very confusing and costs more. But also it's just like a burnout thing. Like, if you're already burning out doing YouTube, how the hell can you possibly work a job on top of that? And then if you have children on top of that. So those people who do that, they're only posting once a week, once a month, once a year. They're not posting as much as I do. So, yeah. So with like bookings and YouTube videos, sometimes I'm posting 2, 3, 4 videos a day on average. You can't do that working a full-time job, coming home, and then, when I said I was doing full-time work with my father as a teenager and coming home and filming 20 videos, that was little videos, 30 seconds to a minute long. Start the camera, do it. I was still freaking exhausted. I could barely lift the camera up, but I still did it. So no, that's not the same as 2, 3 half-hour videos, hour-long videos, especially when a client has something heavy, like heavy, dark situations they're going through. And then I have to put my protections. Sometimes I absorb that unintentionally. It just happens. And then, I carry that with me, sometimes even through the Reiki, unintentionally. It just happens. You can't help but feel compassion. You can't help but feel empathy, right? So that's taxing as well. So, to imagine myself, even a part-time job, I'm like, at this point, like, doing this that long, it just wouldn't work. It wouldn't be worth the money. Wouldn't work. So I just see all these YouTubers making the same mistake over and over and over again. They get the 50,000, 100,000 followers, even on TikTok, and then the algorithm hates them. It happens to everyone. Everyone goes through this period where they plateau. They already bought the nice house, the nice car. Now what? And they're messaging me, asking me for help. And what did I do in that situation? Or what do I do in that case? Sorry. You just have to learn the hard way, because no one's going to tell you that, Everyone's situation is different. Some people get dumb luck, Some of these ASMR artists blew up, got 2 million subscribers overnight, and they're living their best life. That's written, that's for them, and we should be happy for them, So my journey was a little more bumpy there than that. I climbed the stairs and I fell down the stairs, and then I climbed the stairs anyway. And then I fell again. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining me. I hope you have enjoyed, and I'm glad I went through bumps and all those difficult experiences, because at least I have a damn good story to share. Amen. All right. I will talk to you all very soon. Bye-bye.